stora publiken, vilket stöd de svenska åkarna har haft, verkar ha hjälpt dem jättebra i sprinten. Så jaktstarten det här blir riktigt höjdare.
Ja, har du någon favorit på dem om man känner som du vill berätta för publiken?
Jag tänker ju Sebastian på här sidan blir farlig, på damsidan. Ska vi tro i bilen tar den eller?
Ja, det är inte bra. De går nummer 5.
That's true. Väga upp.
Ja.
The women.
So, cominciamo a chiudere mezz'ora prima della partenza, 40 minuti.
Thank you.
A foggy start to the final day of competition and this first stop of the 2025-26 IBU BMW IBU World Cup Biathlon season, and it's right around freezing, and that fog is sort of lifting. It's not going to affect the shooting range much, but still very mild conditions and 90% humidity to close out this final day of a extra long week of the World Cup opener on this IBU World Cup season. Chet Salmela will bring you the action along with Scott Dixon, a former member of the British biathlon team and a long-term coach. Scott, the temperatures a little bit warmer than freezing. You see that 90% humidity, and that is probably the reason why we're seeing fog. But is that going to really affect the shooting or the course for that matter?
It certainly has an impact on the vision, but not as much as the wind does. So they'll be grateful for those slightly more still conditions today. But also equally, everybody has pretty much the same conditions out on the tracks. They start within 2 minutes, and that really does, or I should say 2 minutes and 9 seconds. So that's totally fine.
This competition started 29 years ago in Lillehammer, Norway. It absolutely changed the sport of biathlon. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on, but this is the pursuit event. The start order determined by the winner of the sprint day on Friday, and going third out of the start will be Ocean Michelin, starting 21 seconds behind the leader. Anna Magnusson will start 17 seconds behind from Sweden. She got on the podium and was very thrilled, the Swedish crowd on Friday. But the big star and the first to go out and wearing the yellow bib for the first time in her career, Suvi Minkinen. She emerged last season after 10 years on the IBU World Cup and put herself in the top 10 in the World Cup overall standings today. She stands atop with the yellow bib for the first time in her career. And Scott, what a rise for this lady over the last 2 years as she leads the field out of this pursuit competition today.
She was in shock, wasn't she, when she found out that she's going to actually be wearing the yellow bib. Not only is it a novelty to lead a pursuit race and the psychological demands that are on her just for that alone, but wearing the yellow bib too is going to add to the excitement.
There you see the starter. 17 seconds the gap between Suvi Minkkinen, your first starter from Finland, 30 years of age, and she is just, she's a delight to watch. She has a nice lead too, 17 seconds to her and 21 seconds behind Ocean Michelin. They are top 60, of course, qualify. 2 minutes and 9 seconds between Suvi Minkkinen and Chloe Levins of the United States, the final starter in the start order. Scott, how far back can we look, do you think, to see real challengers that might be able to spring up through this 20-shot race?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go all the way back to Hannah Öberg, who's at 59. Of course, she can climb, but she can't climb 2 minutes and 7 seconds realistically. So I wouldn't put my money there, that's for sure. But Knotten, wearing bib number 27, she's definitely a contender who could, with her ski speed, get up there, potentially for a podium, but she needs all 20 targets.
So Knotten is somebody to keep an eye on. She's a minute 22 back, and yeah, that's achievable. But also, she's going to need some misses from Minkkinen to be Minkkinen and Magnussen, everybody at the top of the order. Scott, talk a little bit. We've seen some old faces, and we've seen some new faces at the front of the order. You look at the overall World Cup standings. You got Suvi Minkkinen on top of it. Dorothea Viera, resurgent in second. Anna Magnussen, not somebody you would expect in the top three. It's been kind of an interesting week here in Ostersund.
It certainly has, and it's lovely to see such different names up at the front, and those who have been here for a very long time, managing to pull together all the different challenging components of biathlon to get these great results. Suvi Minkkinen is now going to try and put those to the test, leading with that different psychological dynamic, and I cannot wait to see how she handles it.
You get a look at Anna Magnussen. She has had a nice start here to her World Cup season. She finished she shot 9 for 10 yesterday to finish second, and Ocean Michelin getting to the podium again yesterday. I believe that was for her second time to the podium for her. And then you see Lisa Hauser of Austria, a kind of a mainstay. She's looking like she's in better form than she started the year last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's, I think one of the most interesting things about today is that there are none who have been up in the top three today who are particularly good in the pursuit at maintaining those positions. And I do think Michelin is my favorite just from the podium alone. But that's the great thing about pursuits, is there's always a shuffle from the podium.
If you look at the long-term success in this discipline, look no further than Ocean Michelin Lou Jean Monod starting in bib 11. She is the overall World Cup leader from last year. She won 4 of the 4 races, but she's going to be chasing Suvi Minkkinen. Jean Monod starting in bib 11. She'll start 55 seconds back, and she's going to have to do some fast skiing and ski faster than Minkkinen, which she did not do in the sprint competition.
I think Minkkinen will just be so glad that she has the opportunity to be out in front, and hopefully will be relaxed, whereas Anna Magnussen hunting down those 17 seconds. Bit of pressure now with Michelin right in there behind her.
Just 3 seconds behind, or 4 seconds between the second and third place starter, Anna Magnussen and Ocean Michelin. Behind her then will be the Austrian Lisa Hauser. She starts at 30 seconds back total, 8 seconds behind Ocean Michelin. And then Elvira Öberg should make this crowd erupt as she heads out on course. She traces from 45 seconds back. Can she make up the time and bring home the victory for Sweden? She'll be chased by the upstart Johanna Jackiela, 26, who had her best race of her career in the sprint competition to start 6th today. And then a whole host of great athletes chasing.
I think it's totally realistic to say anyone all the way back to Dorothea Viera, bib number 17, absolutely can achieve a win today. It would be challenging. It relies on a lot of people missing, but it certainly isn't out with the realm of possibility. And Dorothea Viera, she knows how to shoot fast and accurately.
Going down to Viera, she had 2 misses on the day in the sprint competition. She's starting in 17th spot. Viera starts a minute 2 back. Ahead of her, people to watch for, Lisa Vitozzi in bib 15. She could make that charge. Camille Benet, she's not skiing particularly fast, but she is a great shooter. Camille Benet has shot 96% prone, 89% standing for a total of 92% this year. Not a lot of races, but it's still a great high-level performance. And what is needed today is a combination of not just the ski speed, But the shooting accuracy, and Camille Benet has shown that. She's starting from bib 13, but she's going to have to do it on the shooting range. And Jean Monod, of course, we talked about in bib 11. And those are kind of some of the big names that can chase from about between 45 seconds and a minute back.
Yeah, for sure. And Benet, I believe the 36th fastest ski time, and that was a really, if you're that far down but shooting accurately, it can happen because in pursuit competitions, you can latch on to the back of the skier in front of you, and it's almost easier to push yourself through the pain thresholds when you have somebody in front of you who is objectively ahead of you in the race. Whereas in a time trial, you don't know exactly where you are in relation to the person you're skiing with.
Well, two people who know each other and where they are skiing in relation to each other are these two right here. Anna Magnusson gave up her 4-second lead to Oceane Michelin. Closed that up very quickly, but did they make any time? No, they've actually lost time. 17 seconds was the gap at the start. It's dropped to 20 and 21.5 respectively. So Michelin staying even with Minkkinen. Magnusson losing time to both of the competitors from France and Finland. And now Hauser comes through 34.7 seconds back. She started 30 back, so she's losing just a little bit of time, 4 seconds.
Yeah, it seems to me that Minkkinen is really putting the pressure on first lap, and we know the consequences of that. We saw Campbell Wright really pushing the pace yesterday on lap 1.
Suvi Minkkinen putting one of the best ski performances though of her career together for that sprint win on Friday, and kind of flexing her muscle today in the first 0.8 of a kilometer. Jean Michard now coming through in the 18th spot, right where she started. Pretty much everybody in the order they started, and the gap's not really changing much. I think, Scott, everybody just trying to get used to that pursuit competition and let those first targets go down.
I think it's so important that on the first lap of a race like this, not to get carried away and let the adrenaline take control. It's so important to be relaxed and open up as the race goes on, rather than putting so much effort into the lap when you've got all the energy, but then it comes and it's almost like pulling the rug from beneath yourself if you start too fast too soon.
Caught a glimpse of the Canadian Charlotte Rousseau's first ever pursuit competition in World Cup competition. She is in the middle of the field for Canada, and she is in bib 31 out of 60, and you see Magnusson and Oceane Michelin. Michelin caught up to her and just sitting on her now. Didn't want to go past her, Scott. Are you surprised by that, or is that situation normal for Oceane Michelin?
I think it's just a sensible strategy. Why go past when Magnusson's one of the fastest in the field? Magnusson with the 10th fastest ski speed in the sprint competition. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to just be in there, settle behind her, lap 1. Nothing needs to be dramatic, nothing needs to be tactical just yet.
1.6 kilometers into this 10-kilometer pursuit. It is a 2-kilometer lap. They're skiing 5 times. They'll shoot from the prone, standing. That's the order of shooting. So just 2 kilometers between each shooting stage. It's not a lot of skiing. There is room to make a difference there as a skier, but compared to the sprint day where they raced against the clock on Friday, this is a much different beast. You see, look at the wind graphic. We haven't seen a lot of it pop up when it's been calm, but just 2 kilometers per hour. It's some of the finest, calmest shooting we've seen in this first stop of the World Cup stop in Ostersund. This range has really wreaked some havoc early on, but today, almost perfect shooting conditions.
Yeah, very, very calm, and that's going to play into Minkkinen's favor here. Of course, the only difference is she has to go onto lane 1 now, and that's a different lane from where she zeroed, but you can see the flags all the way down the range. They're very settled, very calm, so now it's just a psychological battle for Minkkinen.
All about the process now, because the wind, not a factor.
Oh, edge shot, low right.
Nice
Fantastic shot, central now, she's recovered it. And the 5 go down, another low right shot there, so that information will be fed to Minkkinen, but great 5 for 5, good start.
It's exactly how she needed to start to put the pressure on these 2 chasers. Magnussen and Michelin start with each a miss. Almost synchronized. Oh, Magnussen will go to the penalty loop once. She's the first to miss of the first 3 skiers into the stage. And a miss from Michelin. So door open, and Suvi Minkkinen's going to have some breathing room now.
Wow, all of a sudden that gap has just opened up so much. But now Hauser, she's coming in with 2 out of 2. She's got 3 now, and Elvira Oberg beside her shooting controlled, not too fast, but she's got 4 out of 4. Hauser goes clear, fantastic shooting from her. Halverson, Oberg, Halverson misses the last shot, but Oberg goes clear, 5 for 5.
Jean Minot with a miss. Tannheimer with a miss. Jokela with 2. Lotteli goes clean. Kirkeide for Norway goes clean. But look at the time gap. Second place, 38.4 seconds, and it comes in the form of Hauser of Austria. Rounding out the top 3, Elvira Uberg for the home team, but she is still 41 seconds back. Uberg started the day 45 seconds back. She's only been able to chew away 4 seconds from Minkinen. The Finn at the front of the field is holding it together through test number 1 of 4.
What a shame for Hämäläinen there with 3 mistakes and the first 3 shots down, and she hesitated a long time to figure out what was wrong. The wind flags, you can actually see them in the distance now in this shot. They are changing. Yep. They're picking up somewhat.
So the wind changing. There you see Lou Jean Minot coming out of the penalty loop. 1 miss for her. 13th place, 121 back. Not a good start for the woman who's by all means the winningest person in recent years in this discipline. Looking for the performance of the Italian Dorothea Viera, 10th place after shooting 1. She's clean, 55 seconds back, right about where she started.
Yeah, Knotten, she's done well. She's got herself into 15th place, so she's climbed up the order impressively well. But that's only the first 5 shots. There's 15 remaining, and of course, the psychological battles, one of the most profound things in a pursuit competition like this. And Ockenthaler of Italy, just saw there, missed 4 out of 5. The pressure must be getting to her.
Or yeah, 0 could be off there a little bit as well. Hanna Uberg, the fastest shooter in that first stage, shooting 21 seconds. And Dorothea Viera has made up 7 seconds on Minkinen, probably one of the biggest chunks taken out of this leader. This athlete at the front of the field, Minkinen, really showing the composure necessary of the yellow bib. And a lot of people would shudder a little bit with that yellow bib pressure at the front, but Minkinen seems to be pretty comfortable in that gold tricot.
It's nice to see Hauser and Uberg working together in a nice controlled manner there. Hauser, of course, such a fantastic, strong skier, but Uberg deciding to go on the left-hand side, and that gap is formidable, 43 seconds. That is essentially 1 penalty loop that Minkinen can afford and still maintain a healthy lead. 2 penalty loops and she'll still be within touching distance of the lead. So she's really bought herself a lot of time, a lot of space up at the front.
Maren Kirkeide holding down 7th spot, 57 seconds back. She's lost 7 seconds on the leader. So Vitozzi comes through in 11th. She's 102 back. She started the day 101 back. She's an aggregate of a lost second. Here comes the red bib, the leader of this discipline last year. And Jean Minot has not had the kind of sparkly start to the season that we would have expected off of last year. I really think everybody thought that, including you and myself, we've talked about it. She came into this season really on a high and has not. She's not terribly on a low. Jean Minot sitting in 6th overall in the overall World Cup standings after the first 2 competitions of the season, but certainly not putting a stamp of any kind of dominance on this field is Jean Minot.
No, and the same could be said for Hanna Uberg as well. 59th in a sprint in her home territory is not something that we would have ever anticipated, but it happened. And I think that's after having done such a great job at the selection races here in Idrefjäll, Sweden. She won the first race, 10 out of 10.
So, at the final time check, you can see the gap. Suvi Minkinen knows exactly where she is because she's gonna take note and see them out of the corner of her eye. She knows she's got a nice big gap now on the rest of the field with that first perfect shooting stage. Scott, where does her mind go at this point coming into the second of prone? Prone, standing. She's going to shoot prone again. Was perfect on the first stage. Saw a little bit of wind come in. Got to check the wind flags, but where does her mind have to be to stay here?
Well, she first of all needs to take the information from the coaches. They've shown her the magnet board. Where did her shots land? And then from that information, she will determine if she needs to make adjustments. If she's done those and that the wind is the same, all she needs to do is focus on her process and change nothing about her process. Trigger pressure, breathing, everything stays the same.
You see the blue bib of Maren Kirkeide, the under-23 leader in this World Cup standings, but the second of 4 shooting stages, the final prone stage on the day. Suvi Minkinen has shot 92% in this discipline. The French woman chasing Océane Michelin has a very good percentage, 90%. And Still no wind graphic there. A little bit of wind, not quite as bad as we saw when it was at its worst in the first shooting stage. So she's getting pretty nice conditions.
Lovely conditions, and she's exceptionally good at prone. 92% hit rate this season, and you think, well, it's just been a couple races, but 91% the season before. But there's an edge shot on the left-hand side this time.
She's got 3 shots now right on the edge. Everything else will be pretty close to center.
Excellent.
Oh, those last 3 were nice.
Excellent, right in the middle of the target, and it was a beautiful final shot to end the prone shooting and adds the pressure for Hannah Öberg and for Lisa Hauser, who are coming in behind and watching her ski away as they try and focus on their process.
It's tough to be at the front of a World Cup field, but when you're Suvi Minkinen and you go 10 for 10 to start off the first World Cup pursuit that you've ever led, it's a pretty good start. Standing shooting to come, but here are the chasers now. Going to have to stay clean. The fastest, cleanest shooters will certainly hold down second spot, but Minkinen continually getting away. They're going to have to wait for her to miss at the front of the field. And Lisa Hauser goes perfectly.
Perfect shooting from Hauser, and that's also excellent shooting for Elvira Öberg. 5 out of 5 for both of the closest chasers. So excellent shooting there from the Swede and the Austrian, as Lotte Lee goes 5 for 5. Magnussen 5 for 5. And all of a sudden, they're all shooting so accurately. We've got Benet of France clear, Vera clear, and Tjurkaida also clear of Norway, just getting her final shot down. Knotten on the chase, she gets 5 out of 5, while Halvorsen just in front of her, so they can work together on the ski.
So looking at the Lou Jean-Monod with another miss, and she is just not going to be a factor today at this point. She could maybe crawl her way back up with clean shooting from the standing, but she's got 2 misses from prone, and Jean-Monod, the red bib, she'll be coughing up that red bib to somebody today. And most likely right now, it looks the best chances are going to be the Finn, who leads after shooting 2 by 37.1 seconds.
Wow, I bet she wasn't expecting that when she started today, to not just start with the lead, but to maintain such a fantastic gap ahead of such brilliant biathletes with the perfect 10 out of 10. That's a great ability to focus on her process and not let the moment overwhelm her.
There's Jean-Monod tripping the time at the second shooting stage. She is now dropped to 21st place. And I was going to say, it's been an auspicious group of people and an odd group of people, a mishmash of people we would have expected, not expected at the front of the field of this opening World Cup season. Scott, how much of that would you attribute to preparation and looking long-term at the Olympics? Like, some people just not firing on all cylinders yet because they've got a ways to get to the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, it depends from different athletes. Some athletes will be able to do a great peak at the start of the season, and they'll be able to peak at the Olympic Games as well. And peak is a strong word because it implies that they are at the best at both of those times. It's very hard to objectively determine when you're at your very, very best in the season. So it comes down to the individuals.
Talk a little bit about the strength of the schedule. The Biathlon World Cup goes 3 weeks on and then a couple weeks off, usually 2 to 3 weeks off. But there are a lot of races packed into that schedule. And in fact, as you're planning the training and the development, you almost have to use the races as sort of a tool in that process. But how do you manage the fatigue, especially with the Olympics coming? You know they're coming down the pike in February. A lot of these people are still trying to make their team, so you need to be hot. But you also need to find recovery. How do you recover between these long stretches of lots of competitions in a single week? Like this week, some of these athletes have raced 4 to 5 times in the last 9 days.
Yeah, so of course we see that Team Sweden managed that by actually taking some time off on the final World Cup before Olympic Games, so before major events. They just don't attend the World Cup, and that's a strategy that's worked for them. But other nations have different strategies too, and that is to continue racing all the way through, with some athletes individually taking time off.
At 4.8 kilometers, the big mover right now is bib number 17. Not a big surprise. Is Dorothea Vir. She's moved up to 5th spot from 17th. And Lucy Shervatova of the Czech Republic, she is in 4th. She is a great prone shooter, but Shervatova notoriously has spent most of her career under 60% from the standing position. So that is an auspicious task for Shervatova to overcome over the next 2 shooting stages and 3 ski stages. But she's showing up to the task now as she and Vera charge on the field. The big dropper is Magnussen, who started 2nd, dropping to 6th now with a single penalty. Clearly not skiing quite at the level she did on Friday to take that 2nd spot in the sprint competition.
Yeah, well, we've got Breza Boucher all the way from 47th to 22nd, so she's doing a really good job. Also Knotten, she's gone from 27th to 10th and is very much on the climb. That's with the perfect 10 out of 10. So we do have some climbers who are threatening.
So you see bib number 17, Dorothea Veer, who started the day 102 back. And I'm going to the shooting times to see if she's making the time of the shooting range. She's not. She's shooting right in the middle of the field, not particularly fast. She's certainly capable of faster, but the big thing for Veer is she's hit all her targets, and sometimes when she goes fast like that, she does miss the shots. She's clean now and has eaten up both on the course and the shooting times, but mostly the course, she's eaten up almost over 10 seconds on Minkinen so far to this point in the race. And there's Veer in bib 17 with Sharvatova sandwiching the second starter on the day, the Swedish woman, Anna Magnusson.
Sharvatova doing an absolutely brilliant job today. She's got a 76% hit rate this season, only in a couple races in prone, 62 in stand. So now, with the first stand coming up, the Sharvatova is going to be feeling the pressure because she needs to pull it together. She's climbed from 14th to 4th, and now the pressure's high.
So Minkinen coming in at the last time check before coming into standing, she was at 36.5 seconds ahead. She lost 2 seconds to roughly a second and a half to Lisa Theresa Hauser and the Chasers. But here is Minkinen now trying to win only her second World Cup. Her first win was 2 days ago. So far in control of this pursuit from the start.
A lovely first hit controlled from Minkinen, but a little bit of hesitation there on the recocking system, but the third goes down. It seems to be easy. 14 out of 15, 15 out of 15. What a fantastic start from Minkinen, middle, and could it be a fantastic end? Could she win the double? Only 5 more shots to go.
Riding a wave of confidence is the Finn, Suvi Minkinen, leading, and she's perfect on the shooting range, and she's quick on the skis. She is riding her biggest form build of her career and putting pressure on the rest of the world now as Elvira Öberg will go to the penalty loop. Hauser's still clean, 14 for 15, and Öberg will go for a second time around the penalty loop. Hauser will hold the second spot comfortably now out of the course. What will be the gap, though? 25 seconds emerged and elapsed since Minkinen has left the shooting range. It's going to be over 30 for Hauser. And Sharvatova with a relatively good standing shoot, 4 for 5.
Excellent, and Magnusson, she goes clear. The crowd going absolutely wild for that. And Benet of France, she's got 5 out of 5. Chirkaida of Norway, also 5 out of 5. So great shooting, plenty chasers now making themselves known. But Minkinen with a 33-second lead out of the shooting range, that's going to be very, very challenging to touch.
Lost a little bit of time to Hauser. Hauser came into the shooting range 36 back, leaves 33 back. It's a negligible amount of time, it's 3 seconds. So Minkinen in a great place, riding her confidence wave into the second to last ski loop of the 5 times around the 2 kilometer loop today, and she has not shown a single hiccup.
Yeah, we got Lisa Vitozzi, she went clear there, and Voigt of Germany also going clear, as well as her teammate Heidi Schwartz, who's skiing incredibly fast today. Grace Aboucher having the fastest ski speed so far up till this point.
And Dorothea Veer's charge from 17th has dropped her back to 14th now. She misses 2 from the first standing shoot. 1 shooting stage to go, a lap and a half of skiing yet to go, so about 3 kilometers left in this race. And Suvi Minkinen has it in her control. There you see the misses of Elvira Öberg. Magnusson still holding down the hopes now of the Swedish team at 48 seconds back with 1 miss on the day. The 4 of the top 5 in the field are clean on the day. Chirkaida from Norway sitting in 5th, starting 7th. She's a minute back. Camille Benet has been really rock steady for the French team all week. She got her first podium earlier in the week, and she's in position to possibly get another one today. 4th place, just trailing by 7 seconds from Anna Magnusson.
And Lisa Hauser shooting very, very well, controlled, and has one of the fastest ski speeds in the whole field. So I'm holding out that she's able to get the 5 out of 5 here, which is going to be putting a lot of pressure on Minkinen. Already being up at the front, the challenge is grand, but now with that 34 seconds at the 6.8 kilometer, that's opened up from 33, so they're skiing at a similar speed.
Just recapping where we are, it's a humid and it's now snowing day in Ostersund. The snow has started to fall. It's been relatively comfortable on the wind, though, compared to the rest of the week, as you see Anna Magnusson come in third. Suvi Minkkinen started the day 17 seconds in the lead for the first time in her career. She's wearing the yellow bib. She's at the front of the field, and she is proving that she is the world's best biathlete at the moment. Is 15 for 15 and has grown her lead to 34 seconds. The largest it's been is 37 seconds after shooting number 2. And Lucy Shirvatova having perhaps one of the best performances on the shooting range she's had recently. She is 14 for 15. A typically less than 60% standing shooter. She went 4 for 5 in the first standing and cleaned all of her prone shots today, having a landmark day as the Czech skier.
Elvira Oberg just coming through the 6.8 kilometer mark there as well, and very much on the chase, but those very painful 2 misses causing her a lot of damage in terms of the time behind. But she's got some strong skiers around her. Michelin is right behind her. So is Heitich Walz of Germany. Both very quick skiers.
Coming up to the 6.8 kilometer mark now, or 7.6 kilometer mark. Suvi Minkkinen. It's been a lonely day, but you wouldn't want it any other way. When you're at the front of a pursuit, you hope for a lonely day. Because that means you're leading.
There's something intimidating, though, for Minkkinen to turn around that corner and see nobody there. And it just brings attention to the fact that she has a massive gap. And it brings attention to the fact that it's her race to lose. And it's that psychological dynamic that trips up so many biathletes. The solution, think about the process, one aspect, and try and eliminate all of those poisonous thoughts.
How much confidence should you be taking from her first win just 2 days ago into this final shooting stage?
Well, confidence can be a bit tricky because sometimes confidence can make you complacent. And actually, the best thing to do is be confident, but in the aspects that brought about the result. For example, I had great trigger pressure. I had great breathing. I had great pacing. Not, I won yesterday, so I can do it again. That's the wrong kind of mentality.
Process-oriented goal setting for yourself, positive self-talk, Suvi Minkkinen trying to apply all those things to the situation she faces now as she is all by herself. You can see the Finnish fans certainly nervous.
I'm nervous. This is such a big moment for Suvi Minkkinen.
She has never been in this situation, and if she pulls this off, it will be a big, big day for her. At the sprint win, one thing, just 2 shooting stages, but 4 shooting stages. She's clean through 3. Suvi Minkkinen, all by her lonesome, comes to the final shooting stage to largely define her late career. Let's watch.
The wind is calm. The question is whether her mind is calm.
Solid barrel movement.
Excellent rhythm. One more to go.
Oh, just barely misses it. It's still going to be close, though. A penalty loop, about 23 seconds. She's been skiing well enough. This still might not mean anything to the rest of the field because Minkkinen is out of there before even Lisa Teresa Hauser is setting up. It still looks like she's going to hang on with a 19 for 20. But that 20th shot, Scott.
Oh, the psychological shot. You think you have it, but now Hauser, she knows exactly what's happened ahead of her, but she has to think about her process just the same. And the first 2 shots go down with ease.
Hauser has been here before. She had a very tough start to last season.
Excellent. 5 out of 5.
And she will have Minkkinen in sight.
And now she can see that gap, and she's going to be asking herself the question of whether she can close it. It's not much. It's a mere 12.1 seconds. It's still all to play for the win. Anna Magnusson, 5 out of 5.
She'll go clean and chase for the podium. Can she catch Hauser? Might be a little bit too much too late. As Chirkaida leaves the range next for Norway, but she's going to the penalty loop. Benet goes clean, 4 for 4, 5 for 5. She is into the 4th spot, the wooden medal. Can she see herself into the bronze? This is Benet coming through. She has had an incredible season so far, has Benet. Hauser clean, so is Benet. They're both 20 for 20 in this opening pursuit, and that's going to put a feather in their cap as they move through the season.
Yeah, Benet, only 7 World Cups, and she's been on the IBU Cup, so to come all the way up to the highest platform in the world and then to be contending at this level has such good connotations for the French team.
Everybody peeling their left, our right to the penalty loop. There's the gap. Now here's the point. Lisa Teresa Hauser is chasing by 12 seconds. However, Suvi Minkkinen, based on the statistics of the skiing speed so far, holds a 2% advantage over her so far on the tracks this year. That does not tell a good story for the Austrian, but you know as well as I do, Scott, Statistics are just statistics. It depends on who shows up today and how your body's firing. Hauser trying to close down the gap. We'll see what it is at the 8.8 kilometer mark, which is upcoming here in just a little while.
Well, this is such a big moment for Minkinen. She'll be so proud of herself to have managed to maintain a lead despite all of the most formidable names, all of them right behind her, hunting her down, trying to get her spot. And then to find out that she has Lisa Hauser hunting down on the chase, that's going to be even more intimidating. But she'll be fueled by adrenaline on this last lap.
Well, the leader has matched or bettered everybody in the field on the shooting range except 2 athletes. Hauser in second, Benet in fourth. And so far, Vanessa Voigt, who started 32nd, has moved up to 10th, the big mover on the day. She's clean at 129 back, but not a real factor in the podium hunt. But still, top 10 for her, nice pursuit. But let's look now at the gap. The gap was, after shooting for 12 seconds.
It's closing.
Definitely
Look at that power there from Hauser. She is absolutely charging down. She's managed to close it to 6.8 seconds, and it is very much touchable. From this point, if she can just get onto the back of Minkinen's skis, it will come down to a sprint finish.
From the statistical disadvantage, Hauser has erased half of the lead that Minkinen left after shooting number 4. Magnuson left the shooting range 30 back. She's 28.3 seconds back. Benet was 12 seconds behind Magnuson. Will come through at this point, losing time just slightly to her, by losing about a second to the bronze medal spot. So Benet not looking like she's moving into a podium spot, but look at Lisa Theresa Hauser now closing down. She can feel the victory in front of her.
And Hauser pulling something special out of the hat here, just in the sprint. Some 2 days ago, she was 24 seconds slower on the skis than Minkinen, but now she has the hunger to get on the back of her skis and indeed be able to get past her on the next, only one more uphill separating her and the finish line. So it's going to come down to the final sprint.
Have to go back to the season of 2023, so 2 seasons ago in Annecy-le-Grand-Bornand. The last time Lisa Theresa Hauser stood atop of the World Cup podium was in a mass start in France. Now in Ostersund, Sweden, she has closed down a 12-second deficit to now just be inches behind the Finn, Suvi Minkinen. And Suvi Minkinen has been nearly perfect, but not perfect enough, as Lisa Theresa Hauser trying to move past the yellow bib, choosing different techniques. Scott, Hauser looking very good.
It's going to have to come down to tactics now. They need to play it smart if they have any energy left in their legs. And Minkinen needs to cling on, get in behind Hauser. Don't let that gap open up. And already you can see Hauser with those effective 2 steps from the back end of the corner, managing to open a gap of a couple meters. And that's going to be pivotal.
The body language tells the story in the closing meters in Ostersund. Suvi Minkinen nearly perfect to hang on for 2 victories in a row. It looked like she would do it, but statistically, Hauser has flipped the tables on the Finn. Into the final turn, she's in control. Minkinen looking a little bit exhausted. Hauser looking quite a bit more energetic.
Wow, and Hauser just towering over that final corner and managing to open up what looks now to be a huge gap. It looks like her skis are running extremely well, and this is it, the final 100 meters for Lisa Theresa Hauser.
5 times atop the podium. Lisa Theresa Hauser didn't look like she could win this today, but she goes 20 for 20 and takes home her 6th victory for the Austrian. Minkinen second in a spectacular performance, should hang on to the yellow bib, but Lisa Theresa Hauser with a burst of speed over the final lap takes the victory in Ostersund. Final podium spot still up for grabs in this final lap.
What a race.
Florman Magnuson.
What a race.
Here's Agna Magnuson now thrilling the home crowd to take home the 3rd spot. Anna Magnuson in 3rd. Camille Benet with putting a bow on a great start to her World Cup campaign in 4th. Camille Benet sitting 4th in the overall standing, should stay there if not move up.
And Chad looking all the way down to 10th place. Hannah Oberg's climbed from 59th all the way to 10th at the 9.6 kilometer mark. That is quite a remarkable climbing up the order, as Shurkaida comes across the finish line in 5th place, 1 minute behind.
And then the Swede coming across the line now, that is Ella Halverson, I believe, bib number 9. comes in 7th with 2 misses on the day. There is Ocean Michelin, who started in the 3rd spot. She struggled on the range, 4 misses, comes into 8th spot. And Hanna Öberg ends the day in 9th after being 59th on the starter, climbs 50 places in the field of 60 to finish in the top 10. Great performance for her. That'll give her a lot of confidence. She wasn't even perfect. 2 penalties on the day.
Absolutely incredible. And that's the fastest overall pursuit time of the day if you just take this race independently. And Dorothea Vera will be a little bit displeased at the fact that she started with 17th and she's going to finish the line in 19th.
Still a great performance for Hanna Öberg. She beats, as you see the leaders, your short podium, Lisa Teresa Hauser, your winner. Suvi Minkinen, the 2nd time on the podium in 2 competitions. And Anna Magnusson, the same can be said for her. She drops from 2nd to 3rd. That's your podium. Here is the rest of the field coming to the line. Still 60 starters. Roughly little less than 2/3 of the field still on the course as Vital comes in 24th. Lampic for Slovenia in 25th.
Breza Boucher, she skied the fastest today with a time of 25 minutes just in terms of skiing. And still, despite that fact, Hanna Öberg beats her just by shooting faster.
So the finisher still coming in. Looking at so Hanna Öberg with the fastest pursuit time by 15 seconds, Scott. 15 seconds is a pretty solid performance by Hanna Öberg.
Excellent performance, and looking at some who would be a bit disappointed, Tannheimer, she dropped from 8th to 20th. Dakiela of Poland from 6th to 21st.
Well, looking at the Live Cup prognostications and the mathematics, it looks like Lisa Teresa Hauser will supplant Suvi Minkinen. At least that's what the math is saying on the Live Cup results right now. We'll confirm that later, but she came into the World Cup season. She came into today just. Hauser looked like she was, let me see where she is in the standings there. The overall World Cup score for the women. Minkinen. Hauser was 55 point. That doesn't seem right that she should take the total score. But, the discipline score I'm looking at. The total score, Minkinen should stay in it ahead of Magnuson. Magnuson will move up to 1st, or from 1 spot from 3rd to 2nd. Benet will move into the 3rd spot overall. Hauser projecting to move 8 spots up into 4th. That's the one I'm looking for. So Minkinen should hang on to the yellow bib. The red bib will go to the Austrian who won today. And at the finish line, the person who came into the day with the red bib, the French woman Lou Jean Monod, who we expected a lot from, only able to muster up a 16th spot today with 4 misses on the day. Scott, is that surprising?
Yeah, it's always, I mean, these are such unpredictable races, and you see so many people who manage to pull it out the bag with perfect 20 out of 20. For example, Hristova got the perfect 20, Wolfa got 20 out of 20, climbed up, and that level of unpredictability makes it exciting, but certainly I wouldn't have made that prediction.
Yeah, and we should point out that even though Hanna Öberg climbed from 59th to 9th, it seemed like a massive amount. She still only took the pursuit time by 15 seconds over Lisa Teresa Hauser. That those 50 places are really quite condensed. It gives an impression that she made a lot of time, but she mostly made a lot of places as the dense field worked through. But Suvi Minkinen will hang on to the yellow bib for another day. She'll take that bib to Hochfilzen, Austria, which will start next week, and we hope you'll join us there. You see Hanna Augenthaler, as you said, she had a really rough start to her shooting performance today. She comes across the line with 6 penalties on the day for Italy. 3 more competitors on the course. Ranil Svensteinovic, the big 45, coming to the finish now, and she'll take the 58th of 60 spots. And a tough day on the range and tracks for her with 4 misses on the day. But spectacular finish. I have to say, Scott, I did not believe as they left that Suvi Minkinen was going to give up the lead, but look at the joy on Lisa Teresa Hauser's face as she takes her 6th World Cup victory.
She managed to do it with just incredible ski speed. I think she had the hunger, the adrenaline of watching all those targets go down. That actually amounts to a lot. If you miss the last shot, it can be crippling. And to go around that penalty loop, you suddenly feel like all hope can be lost. You've lost your opportunity. Whereas Hauser, perfect 20 out of 20. The adrenaline was flowing through her veins and the hunt was on.
Well, just looking at the ski time, the course total time, they're not separated by much. Minkinen only lost 3 seconds to Hauser. Hauser 110 back of Bryce Boucher. Minkinen 3 seconds slower. Both of them in the top 25 ski times, but I think it was the way that Hauser applied her power that Minkinen probably spent a little bit more energy in the early stages to try to hold on to that lead, and just found out she didn't quite have the power left in the final stages. That's pretty common. Yeah,
but also it is surprising to see them so far down in terms of their ski speed, and that's unusual for two people to be first and second and both outside the top 15 ski speed. So really a testament to the shooting today and how much that of a part that has played in the results.
No, well, Hannah Uberg shows what good skiing will do, and she skied nearly a minute faster, a little less than a minute faster than the two women on the podium. She went from 59th to 9th, and that explains it. That explains that gap that she experienced, and why she did so well and moved up. Here is bib number 54 from Italy, who has been kind of spectacular on the skis, but not so much on the shooting range. Michela Carrara, whole new level of ski racing for her. She's been posting some of the fastest ski times, but 9 penalties on the day has left her back in 59th spot, second to last.
But still smiling, as is so often the case when the endorphins are running through your veins after a race like this.
It's only 59 finishers because Selina Grotzian of Germany did not start today, so Michaela Carrara closes out today's competition and closes out the women's competition at this Ostersund opening World Cup stop. They'll move to Hochfilzen, Austria. As we look at the final results, 2.5 seconds the difference between Lisa Teresa Hauser, and 1 shot the difference as well. Hauser moved up 3 spots to take the win. Suvi Minkinen drops 1 position to take the second spot, and Anna Magnusson drops a single spot to finish in 3rd. And that's how it worked today in Ostersund. Will be the flower ceremony coming momentarily, but Scott, final impressions of today's race and the whole week of women in Ostersund.
Well, I'm so impressed with Minkinen managing to really hold her nerve. And the last shot, of course, the highest pressure moment was pulling the trigger after the first 19 going down. I think she did such a fantastic job, and it's lovely to see Hauser back on the top of her game and winning once again. So it's brilliant. Lots of different winners and from lots of different nations, and that's what we love about biathlon. I think we're going to expect lots of different winners again going forward, and I hope everybody tunes in to watch all of that.
I had some time to interact with the Austrian team last year in the French World Cup, and we were in the same hotel, and I noticed they were really struggling last year. I almost thought if maybe Lisa Teresa Hauser might be on the verge of retirement at that point. Things were going so poorly, but she turned the season around at the end of last year, and what a place she is now compared to where she was just 12 months ago. Now back atop the World Cup for the first time since the 2023 season. So a big move forward for her. She is happy. She's got to be happy today. And when you finish, when you feel that good, it's got to give you a lot of confidence as you see the overall World Cup standings. Suvi Minkinen has a nice lead over Anna Magnusson. Camille Benet in 3rd. Scott, look at this leaderboard. Would you have expected Minkinen, Magnusson, and Camille Benet without Lou Jean-Monod in the top 10, or top 5?
No,
Jean-Monod in 9th?
If you showed me that list, I would have assumed it's a start order, not the overall leaderboard after week 1. But it is week 1, and it's Olympic season, so we do expect a wider variety of performances at the beginning. It will even out towards the end, and we'll see a lot of those big names rising to the top once again. But another French superstar in the making, Benet, and that's in ahead of Michelin and Richard. Lots of fantastic biathletes, very capable of winning races.
Camille Benet will move into the 3rd overall standings. Move into 3rd for the overall standings of the World Cup. She has come to Ostersund, and in the individual and sprint competitions, she missed 1 shot entirely, and 1 shot on the weekend, on the whole week really, in Ostersund. So she is nearly perfect on the shooting range, and that has earned her, with her ski speed, a 3rd place overall standing. As we recount the top 3, Anna Magnusson did it on a score of 19 for 20. Started the day chasing the leader by 17 seconds and ending the day with a deficit of 31.8 seconds in the 3rd spot. So she and the winner both hitting 19 for 20. Magnusson missed her first shot in the first stage, and Minkinen missed her shot in the last stage. Minkinen, I think, held up to the pressure well. Don't you think, Scott?
She did such a fantastic job, and it's so nice to see such a friendly character do so well. In all the interviews, she was just stunned by her victory, and I think she'll be even stunned again today by her second place. To hit 19 out of 20 with that amount of pressure is an exceptional achievement.
Spent a lot of time in Finland, and you could feel the general impression of the Finnish public when Kaisa Mäkäräinen hung up her skis and rifle for good a few years back. Well, it's quite a years back now, a handful number of years back, that the Finns had kind of just given up on the fact that they'll ever be good again in biathlon. But Suvi Minkinen has persevered, and they've got a great coach in Erik Tornius-Sjölstad, who has led this Finnish team and in a huge renaissance for the sport, especially the women who are performing and firing on all cylinders. But Austrian Lisa Hauser, at 30 years of age, has reached the top of the podium for the first time in 3 seasons. It was Le Grand Bornand in the mass start in 2022-23 season, which is 3 seasons ago. I had that wrong earlier. I thought it was 2, but it's actually 3 seasons since she has won. And Hauser is back, ladies and gentlemen, and what a feeling. She's had a great experience at Antolz, and this should give her a huge confidence going into this Olympic Games.
Well, she was on fire, wasn't she, in the 2021-22 season, and then once again, as you said, 2023. But to then have that dip and to come back to this highest level is what makes that such an exciting victory for Hauser.
You see the top 3 there. Hauser's best overall World Cup finish was that 21-22 season where she finished 3rd overall. Let's see what she has to say.
3 years since the last time, and perfect 0 and the victory here. I can see it. It means so much for you right now.
Yeah, the last year were a little bit difficult for me, and I have individual victory in each race, expect the pursuit. So this was one big goal in my career, to win also a pursuit. And today it happened, so with 4x0 it was almost a perfect race for me, and I'm so glad. I really cannot believe it.
Last shooting, when you entered, did you hear that Suvi missed one, and what did you think?
I heard it from the spectators, but I tried to focus on myself, to focus on my targets. I didn't take a look on her targets, I just heard the audience, so I just tried to focus to make the back targets wide, and it worked out today, so this is really cool.
And this final loop?
Yeah, it was amazing. At first I thought I'm not able to catch her, but somehow the gap I got closer and closer, and the gap got smaller, so I really tried to push till the end, and then I didn't know should we take a sprint in the finish, or but I managed to do it before or already at the water tower, so I'm really happy, and I was able to enjoy the finish.
Well, congratulations, enjoy this.
So much.
She's been on the World Cup since 2013-2014, a long and historic career. She got, as I said, high watermark 3rd overall in the standings in 21-22, but as of late, the 23-24 season going very poorly for Hauser, finishing 33rd, the 2nd lowest of her entire career 2 seasons ago. Climbed back up to 11th overall, and now sits in the top 5 of the overall standings and wins her first race since that 2022-23 season. And Scott, it's fun to see these resurgent kind of belief in themselves, these old champions who maybe almost give it up after a couple of years and a couple rough years, but at least Therese Hauser nearly in tears in that interview.
Yeah, you could see how emotional it was for her, and understandable. When you work so hard and the results plateau, it can be incredibly painful for whatever reason that happens. But it was cool to hear her say how there were so many distractions. She heard the crowd cheering for the hits and the misses, and she had to focus on her targets and not even take a glance to see what happened with Minkinen.
In her 13th World Cup season, Lisa Therese Hauser steps atop the podium for the 6th time, and we'll celebrate that in just moments as the flower ceremony about to get underway here in Ostersund. We want to remind you the men's pursuit to close out this World Cup will happen at 15:20 Central European Time, so 3:20 in the afternoon, and that is 9:20 in the East Coast of the United States if you're watching from North America. We'll be back in just a moment for the flower ceremony.
Topp 40 nästa strid.
Vad sköt du då? 2? Ja, du körde lite. Ja. Men alltså jag kan säga att där jag startade var det typ massstart. Och man var så jävla tajt. Det var liksom i 2 klungor där folk drog iväg till exakt samtidigt. Flowers, så var jag såhär, vad är jag sist?
The flower ceremony for the women's pursuit competition in the opening World Cup sequence in Ostersund, wrapping up a somewhat tumultuous week on the shooting range. Today was a very nice shooting day by comparison to the rest of the week. And Scott, another nice mix of people we don't normally see on the flower ceremony, but not super surprising either based on recent results.
Yeah, refreshing podium and flower ceremony, but also a delight to see. What a great race.
So the mayor of Ostersund getting the honor with the president of the IBU handing out the awards today. And for the second time in 2 races, having a great start to her season, Anna Magnusson, nearly perfect on the shooting range, 19 for 20. She takes the 3rd spot after finishing 2nd in the sprint competition, and she is the top Swede now in the world, sitting 2nd in the overall standings. Most of these athletes training, at least training part of the year in Ostersund, a big training center even in the summer months. This venue with great pavement for roller ski training and combination training. Magnusson not a stranger to the podium now, nor this venue, and she makes the most of it this week with a 2nd in the sprint and now a 3rd in the pursuit. She will remain in the yellow bib despite getting passed by Lisa Teresa Hauser in the final meters of this race. No real reason to hang her head as Sofia Minkkinen takes 2nd after winning the sprint competition. She again is off to an incredible start for the Finnish program. The first person to wear that yellow bib since Kaisa Mäkäräinen retired for Finland. Kaisa Mäkäräinen wore the yellow bib and the Crystal Globe at the end of the season 3 times in her career. Minkkinen trying to make it her first time, and she starts off with a great series of races in this World Cup opener. But today's big story out of Austria. The winner. It's taken 3 seasons to find this kind of form. Again, for the 6th time. Lisa Teresa Hauser, her first ever pursuit victory in Biathlon World Cup competition today. She had never won this discipline. Today she checks that off her list, and she's still a little bit teary-eyed, maybe a little bit verklempt. But Lisa Teresa Hauser, you have won this race in style with a flourish of speed at the end, and just a great performance to seal the deal on this final day of competition in Ostersund before heading home to Hoogfilzen, where she will be celebrated by her fans. She lives just down the road in Kitzbühel, the great Hahnenkamm downhill. Kitzbühel just right in the vicinity of Hoogfilzen. She will go home with a victory, leaving Ostersund your winner, Lisa Teresa Hauser. Your top 3, Hauser, Minkkinen, and Magnusson to close out Ostersund for the women. A spectacular week by Camille Benet. She will move into the 3rd spot overall in the World Cup standings. I don't know if she believed that she would leave this first World Cup stop in such fine fashion, but on the top 3 of the world. Maren Chikaita started the week with a 12th place in the individual, 7th in the sprint, and moves up to 5th on the day-to-day. And somebody who hasn't been in the flower ceremony for 6 seasons, Lucy Sharvatova puts together a spectacular, by her standards, standing performance today to finish in the flower ceremony in 6th place. A great feather in her cap late in her career. 2 misses on the day, 18 for 20. And she finishes in the 6th spot, a minute 7 back. Congratulations to her. Lots of unexpected storylines to start off this World Cup season, this all-important Olympic World Cup season. And as Scott mentioned, that is probably a little bit to be expected. Some of the big stars shooting for the Olympic medals, but today, the biggest star is Lisa Teresa Hauser. That'll wrap things up for the women's pursuit from Ostersund and the action for the women as we move to Hoogfilzen on Friday. We hope you'll join us then. We have the men's starting in just a couple hours, 15:20 on the European continent, 9:20 a.m. Eastern Time. The men will close things out here in Ostersund. For Scott Dixon, we'll see you then.